Welcome to another Team Solomon Circus deck profile. Today we're going over the new deck released from Power of the Elements. We're going over Spright. So I think this is probably one of the two best, obviously the other one's Your Element, which is coming soon. I think this deck is super great for the next format. It's nib proof. You should have to be careful because we're going to go into a very, very heavy, not going second, but going second board breakers like Dark Ruler no more just shuts off the board. So you really have to find answers to those kind of problems. And yeah, a lot of the deck has, the deck just craps out so many great monsters, so many link 2s, level 2s super easily. So it is a combo deck and it has 0 RNG. Kind of reminds me of Adamantium a bit. But yeah, before we get into the profile, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So to start off with the main deck, we play with the 3 Spright Blues. He's your main starter of the deck. When he gets special summoned, he adds any of your Spright monsters. Then we play the one you usually search. We play 3 Jet. This is for searches for your spells and traps. So either your Spright starter or your Smasher. You're out to Mystic Mine. Great to have a deck that's an out to Mystic Mine. Then we play the 2 red. This is your monster negate. They all special summon if you control a level 2. Summon them. Control if it's Link or an XYZ. So just be careful, you know which one you're doing. This is your monster negate. If it destroys an extra deck monster, it gets to, if you control an extra deck monster and you tribute that to negate, you have to then destroy that monster. So, and then we are playing the 1 carrot. It's your spell and trap negate. Some people cut this all together and play 3 red. Some people play 1 red, 2 carrot. All really depends. I personally like 2 red, 1 carrot. Fun fact, Sprights are all about lightning. That's why the deck is blue. But yeah, that's it for the Spright main deck monsters. Now we're going on to the other engine of the deck. We are playing the swap engine, or I guess the Diva engine, whatever you want to call it. So 3 swap frog. Definitely the best engine. This is just Toad negate. And then with your elf, you can bring back Toad. You can't much say about that. So 3 Toad, 1 Ronin. We are not playing the dupe frog. I definitely think you could play it. It's not a bad card. The problem is just another brick. It doesn't do anything for your deck. So battle protection is kind of all right. It does stop because you don't want to be able to just beat over the elf before you get a negate. So I understand the purpose of why you would want to play the card. I think that the deck is so tight and that you don't need it. So it's not needed right now, but feel free to play it if you guys want to. Ronin tones for the combo, swap, send, Rodin. We all know how this goes. We all know Toad combos. And then we are playing the 3 Diva as well. For your Hulk line, as well as you can summon itself to go into automatically Link 2 for Spright. Yeah, can't complain. Frog is frog. Wish I had ultis, but I'm not that rich. Now for our hand traps, we are playing the 3 Ash Blossoms. This card will probably forever be one of the one-on-one cards. It's not high impact or nothing, but it trades 1 for 1, and it also destroys a Despia matchup. So you want to be able to do that. Plus, some of the tier, it hits tier pretty well. Sword Soul is kind of getting removed from the meta, but I think it's going to be able to seen for quite a little bit. But it's just hard to beat this deck. Hard for Sword Soul to beat this deck. So yeah. Ash trades really well for most of the cards. It's always 1 for 1 or even more. Hitting Brand Infusion still feels great. I'm going to play the 3 DD Crow. This might look odd to a lot of you guys, but DD Crow is one of the best hand traps in the next format. So it just destroys a tier. It also is able to hit Rodin Totem if you're playing versus Spright. So I think we're going to see a lot more DD Crows lately. Also really good against Despia matchups. So that's why Despia has to take a back seat a little bit, as well as Sword Soul, because if you just lose all your 10E monsters, not so great. We're also playing the 3 Infinite Impermanence. Monster negates, pretty great. Can't really complain about that. Another good card you could play is Ogre. You could hit Ogre on the Spright, but we're not playing it in this list. I find that's all right against the tier. That's why I don't think it's really worth playing it. I do think Flanders is going to keep playing, or not keep playing. It's going to keep sneaking up and being a top tier rogue contender. Something else you have to be careful of is with DD Crow in your deck, if you're playing Spright, you're going to be activating a lot more effects that could trigger Exo Sisters. Exo Sisters is going to be a really good rogue deck versus a tier deck. And you don't really want to be able to go into a blind and have like 3 cards that are empty in your deck. So I definitely think you should be more careful about that. You know, being careful what you always banish. So as well as these 3 hand traps, you also play another one of the best cards in the format is going to be Gamma and the One Driver. So I think DD Crow and Gamma are probably one of the best hand traps in the format. Gamma because it just hits everything, and you can hit a bunch of the tier element monsters that trigger in the graveyard as well. And it can stop any of your tier stuff, all your Spright stuff. This deck can utilize Lambda, so it's also a link too. So we play that as well in this. It's kind of better than in the tier deck because you know, you don't want to have to normal summon your monster or activate effect, but you can mill them. So I understand you being played in both decks. It also like really hinders like Flanders as well, because you can stop that monster returning from the banish zone. So if you have like an Imperm and a Gamma, you can pretty much halt their turn, but it does feel pretty bad to summon out to stop a like return from hand kind of thing. Now for the spells and traps of the deck, we are playing the 3 Spright starters. E-Telly of the deck for the Sprights. It just summons out a Spright monster from your deck. Then you lose life points equal to the attack of the monster. Can't really complain. Kind of cracks. It's a quick play. It's literally E-Telly. We play our Mystic Mine out, Spright Smashers. Really cool lore card as well. Hopefully going to be an OTS Super in 20, but we shall see. We are playing the 3 Prod of Prosperities as well. Consistency, and you know, you can get rid of 3 cards in your extra deck. I don't think you actually have room for 6, but I guess if you're in that bad of a situation, you can find 6. We are also playing the 3 E-Telly. Searches out your Gamma, which is a level 2. We are also playing the Ogre in the side as well. So I definitely think that, you know, you can also summon that out as an interruption. So definitely worth playing. And then we play the 1 Call by the Grave. Card's cracked, should be banned, but it's not, so we'll play it. I was thinking about playing the Crossout Designator as well. You could, in my original build, I was playing Crossout over the E-Tellys, but I found myself wanting to have more level 2 monsters on field. So I decided to, you know, play E-Tellys, and I like that a lot more. It also gives the Gammas that are dead in deck, like something you can do, as well as you can bounce it with swap. So say you summon a Gamma, you can target Toad, you can target with swap, bounce back to hand, and then you can make a Lambda as well. So you can make that E-Telly live. You can make that Gamma live off an E-Telly. It's a cool interaction. You definitely don't really want to do that, but it's able to be done if needed. Yeah, I really like the deck. There's not as much space as I wished. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Adamant Spaders, as I said earlier. But yeah, I guess both decks does, because tier resolves a lot more on RNG than this deck, but so did Adamant Spaders, which is probably one of my favorite decks of all time. Now moving on to the extra deck, we are playing the 2 Gigantic Sprights. This card's absolutely insane. When it's XYZ summoned, you can use like a link to or a. I'll just read the card for you guys. So for this card XYZ summon, you can treat a link 2 monster as level 2. It gains original attack if its use has a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link monster, so it can be originally up to 32. And then its effect is you can discard. You can activate the effect. It is not detached for cost, as well as you do not have to detach from itself. So let's say, for example, you have itself and a Totally Awesome on the field, and you activate the effect and your opponent ogres you. You can detach from Toad to still be able to use the effect. So it's really good for that. And then once you activate the effect, you both are not linked to. You are 2 locked, so you can't get nibbed. Interesting word. I wonder what they're gonna come up with for like the word 2 locked, but we shall see. Then we are playing the 2 Toads. You could absolutely cut this down to 1. I prefer the 2 because I do like how it comes up, and yeah, yeah, Toad's the best boy. You play the 1 Cat Shark. Cat Shark and Gigantic Spright can be pretty much OTK. This can boot this up to 64 and be able to some great bodies there. You could also play the Gamma Burst, which could make this like just a complete OTK if you just double up the attack and then attack. But we don't play that card because it's not so great, but if you wanted to, it's there. We also are playing the Sky Cavalier. This card just for able to make Zeus. You need to, not the greatest. If you're going first, normally I banish this off Prosperity. We have the Downer Musician. More material Zeuses, come on. Then we have a Zeus. Zeus is Zeus. We all love the card. That's it for the XYZs. Not much to say. And then for the links, we are playing the 1 Almirage. You have to play that because swap, if you open nothing but swap and then like hand traps, this can make a full combo. Then we have the 2 Link Elves. I really don't know what to say about this card. This one itself just special summons a Link 2 from the graveyard. On Wednesday, I literally had like a plus. I used this card 3 times. So my opponent couldn't out it past turn, and then I was able to use it on my turn again. This like generates so many bodies. It's also so great. Using it for Gigantic Spright, just cracked overall in general. Amazing. Halky Fibrax. This card is kind of interesting in this build. I'm not playing any of the synchro stuff, so you really don't like need it, but it does come up. Lambda is like overall a sleeper. I believe that people should be really thinking about this card more often. Being able to side frame with monster on the field is just absolutely broken. That's why side frames had that restriction in the first place. Giving a Link monster is just insane. Let me play the IP Masquerena. Able to use to summon a better monster during your opponent's turn. Can be an interruption as well. Once you use like your Spright monsters and like they negate their stuff, you want to be able to have a use for them, so you can just use it with my IP Masquerena. So really good for that. And then we are playing the Unicorn as well. This is our IP Masquerena target. I wish I had room for, I was trying this. I was trying Avermax over this, but it wasn't really good. A lot of the decks can just out Avermax, so it's not really much of a problem. And then as well as like Appaloosa, I find that like the deck doesn't lose really the monster negates, it just loses like Spell and Trap, as well as like just Dark Ruler no more in your field, or just setting up like something that's untargetable. So I was just thinking about cards like that, and I think IP Masquerena going into Unicorn is pretty decent, so that's what we're playing. I was also thinking about playing the Desert Locust for Hulk, and then being able to like use this as well as like level 2 to go into Omega, but I chose not to. But that's definitely like a build you could play. It's interesting because you know you could just rip 2 cards from their hand, but the problem is that their opponent gets to choose. So let's say we go Hulk and then we go Desert Locust game 1, and then our opponent discards like a tier element monster. That's a problem. They get so much advantage from that, as well as like they're just being able to choose what they want to discard. Going into game 2 and 3, if you are going first and you do side in like a Pointer of the Red Lotus, you could Hulk this, so you're pretty much ripping for 3, as well as like you could pretty much always make Hulk if you get interrupted. So I think it's definitely worth to think about, but right now we're not. Maybe if we get hit by a ban list and stuff changes, we can do it then, but for now, this is going to be our list we're going to stick with. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be glad to like the help. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, signing off. Peace.